Well, hey guys, welcome to the studio. Today, a weird question. Should we be checking our mixes at low levels? And there's a follow-up question. What if we don't have a room that's treated acoustically very well? Would there be a benefit to mixing at low levels? Let's get to it. I was shocked. I asked this question over in our Facebook group, Recording Tips, which you should come join. And some engineers whom I take very seriously were all pretty much doing this. They were all checking their mixes at very quiet levels. And the follow-up question of what if your room has acoustic treatment or doesn't have acoustic treatment? Would there be a benefit to mixing quietly, say in a room that may lack acoustic treatment? So let me answer this question backwards. I was fascinated by a question from one of our group members who asked, what if you have acoustic treatment or don't have acoustic treatment? Would mixing at low levels be beneficial for you in that instance? And I honestly, I had to guess. I don't know the answer, but luckily somebody did know the answer. This is Ethan Weiner, the author of the book, The Audio Expert, which is available everywhere and you should buy. Every studio should have it. I'll link it below. And here's how he answered that question about how audio behaves at low levels. And Ethan says, by amazing coincidence, someone just asked me the same thing just a few days ago by email. This is what I replied. Acoustics is highly linear until you get super loud levels over 150 plus SPL, where the air can actually compress and distort. So in other words, if you're under 150, you're fine. So what happens at loud volumes in a room happens the same at lower levels. When reverb, ambience, reflections seem to disappear at low levels, it's simply because they're too soft to hear. They're below the threshold of hearing. Fletcher Munson also makes soft sounds less clear and distinct. On the other hand, peaks and nulls in the frequency response are the same at all volumes. So if a single bass note sticks out or disappears, it will do so at all volumes. To be perfectly clear, yes, room treatment is useful and needed even in low volume levels. So thank you, Mr. Ethan Weiner, for that thoughtful answer to the question. And I did not know that. There's a reason that I trust anything that Ethan says on any of these topics. Not only is he the author of The Audio Expert, he's also the designer of the acoustics in this studio. And with his expertise, this studio was able to attain a frequency response chart that you see here, where blue is Yamaha HS5 monitors and a subwoofer, and in green, Cali LP8s. And that's a pretty flat response across the board. And this is the waterfall chart for this room, where you can see I do not have any lingering frequencies, even in the bass, with the absorption that we designed into this room. So let's unpack the two main statements that Ethan is making here. First off, when reverb, ambience, reflections seem to disappear at low levels, it's simply because they're too soft to hear. Makes total sense. Your mix is at a quiet volume, say maybe the sound level of a conversation, maybe around 70 dB, or maybe lower, around 60 dB, or even quieter than that. And you might not hear the reflections because they might be hanging down around 35 or 40 dB. Your ear is not going to hear that as a reflection. But then he goes on to say, on the other hand, peaks and nulls in the frequency response are the same at all volumes. That's huge. And the example that he gives, he says, so if a single bass note sticks out or disappears, it will do so at all volumes. And that could really affect your mix. So like I said, this was really a two-part question, and I wanted to answer them backwards. I wanted to talk about how acoustic treatment has any kind of effect or possibly a benefit to recording at quiet levels. And as we know from Ethan, well, you might not get the benefit that you think you might get from that. But yet a lot of engineers who I trust are checking their mixes at low volumes. Well, here's some engineers that I take very seriously. Chaz and Brian. Kelly in her studio is just absolutely astounding. Orlando, Dennis, Joe, the list goes on, and they all give it a thumbs up. These are engineers who I trust, and they're already doing this. I had no idea. I'm going to try the next referencing that I'm doing. I'm going to bring the volume way down and check my mixes against other mixes that I trust and see if I'm hearing that weird thing where only the most prominent aspects of the mix are still audible. So I'm very thankful for the Recording Tips Facebook group and the help that they give me as I'm trying to get better as an engineer. I think we're all learning still. And there's a lot to learn. Anyway, I had a lot of fun putting this together. I hope you come join us in Recording Tips on Facebook, and we got a lot of work to do. Let's get to it.